get some really good results, and I'm trying to take my time. I'm not in a rush. I'm not only trying to find physical stillness, I'm trying to find mental and emotional stillness.
Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day, I'm gonna make something great.
So in Jim's YouTube catalog, there's a video that talks about the 4 stages of learning. Let's see if I can get this right and not mess it up. So the first stage of learning out of the 4 is the unconscious incompetence. Basically meaning, I don't know that I don't know anything about this. The second would be conscious incompetence. That means I know that I don't know how to do this. The third stage would be conscious competence, meaning I know that I know how to do this. And then the fourth would be what's called unconscious competence, and Jim describes that as, what did I just do? Meaning basically that it becomes innate. It becomes a habit, almost like standing up from this bench and walking down toward my car. I wouldn't have to think about that, it would just happen. I am recommitting myself to this process with Jim Venetos and his method. I'm going to go back to the beginning stages of learning and discover a lot of new things that I most likely missed the first time that I went through the process from beginning to the end. So, in going back to the beginning here, I've been working on my chipping and my putting nightly. I'm not showing you video of that because it's just going to be too boring. But every night, on a nice tight piled rug that rolls a lot like a putting green, I practice my 3 and 4 foot putts. I try and make 30 putts 3 feet and 30 putts 4 feet. I've also been practicing my chipping, what Jim calls the bump and run. But now, finally, I'm out here on the range today. I'm able to get back out. Like I said, life's been crazy. It's been busy, work. I'm building a koi pond out in the backyard. I just have not had as much time to get out here and play and practice as I would like. When you are first starting out with the JVGA and Jim asks you to send him video, some of the first videos he asks you for are a quarter swing, a half swing, a 3/4 swing, and a full swing with a 9-iron down the line. Being that I'm starting over, I'm going to go through and make those 4 individual videos to send to Jim this week. And I want him to be able to compare them, number one, to himself like he always does, but I want him to also be able to compare them to my original.
All right, just so you can kind of get a better idea, I'm going to sit you out here, give you the front view again. That was the quarter, solid, up the target line. That's the half, solid, up the target line. So now I'm going to try the full.
So that's my focus today. I'm going to focus on stillness. I'm going to focus on not moving whatsoever and just letting the club fall into the back of the ball, and that's the end of the swing. I'm going to start all over and recommit and see if I can take what I've learned and bring it to an even sharper point, and develop the skill even further by starting all over.
Well, it's still humid outside, that's for sure. This was a good practice session. Getting back to basics, getting back to the small stuff, getting back to the bump and run, getting back to the pitch. You know, I did that out on the range rather than around a pitching or a putting green area. And a lot of people would say, man, that's a waste of balls to go out there and hit, you know, quarter and half shots with a bucket of balls. No, I don't think so. I don't think it's a waste at all, because number one, I don't have to go back out there and pick up all 100 of those balls. And number two, I'm focusing on the most important part of the game. Not just the most important part of the game, but the most important parts of this particular method of letting the club send the ball where you want it to go. I don't want to call it a technique. I don't want to call it a method. I don't want to call it a golf swing. I don't know what to call it, because all of those names just, to me at this point, after 5 months of this, they just don't do it justice. Jim usually refers to it as being a silent witness to what's happening around you. That's a lot like what it has become. You're in the middle of the tornado. You're in the eye of the storm, and the winds and the objects are just swirling around you. You're not in control, but you're not affected by them either. So that's kind of what it's become for me anyway. So working on these quarter, half, 3/4, and full shots with wedge, 9-iron, and even up to a 7-iron like I did today, that's where it's built. That's where this swing is built. That's where it lives. Jim often refers to, if he's running behind to get out to the golf course, maybe there's some traffic or they just don't have enough time for him to be able to get out and warm up with full shots and all his clubs, go through the bag for a half an hour or whatever it is that most people do. If he can go out there and make quarter and half shots a couple of times, he's good to go. He knows his magic is there. He knows his swing is there, because that's really all it is. You're just making a much longer bump and run shot with a driver and a 3-iron and a 7-iron. So this was a really good session. I learned a few things. I'm glad I'm starting over, and I'm coming into this sort of period now, wiser than I was, but hopefully I will be even more wise coming out on the other side.